It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Yeah, Dick got cut off there. Hey, it's always a great day to talk hockey on HabsCast, especially when there's news. News in Habsland today. I got the email this morning from the club notifying me that they had signed Alex Texier to a 2-year extension. Kind of surprised me actually. Like, will he even be in the lineup come playoff time if they make the playoffs? I guess they figured, hey, he's on the first line now. We can sign this guy for what's basically uh, almost half of what the league average will be next year at 2.5 million, right? The league average next year will be $4.5 million per player, for 23 players times 20 4.5 will come out to the 104 million that the salary cap will be next year. So, I mean, how often does somebody who is currently playing on a club's top line sign a deal at half of the league salary or just over? Not too often, but obviously, uh, Texier and his agent realized that his time on the first line is probably fleeting. Especially, I think when Doc comes back, we're going to see Kirby Doc get a look on the top unit. But hey, good for him. For a guy, how often does somebody get bought out, sign a contract with another team, and then get extended all within what, a 2 month period? So kind of got paid 3 times really in the last 2 months. I mean, I wish I could pull that off, but uh, I don't like. He's not a consummate bottom six player. Now, he's been playing with a little more grit as his time has gone on here with the Canadians. I don't picture him as being the ideal fella to have in your bottom six come playoff time. And I don't think he's consistent and talented enough to play in your top six. So I'm not crazy about the signing, but clearly Kent Hughes and his management staff and the coaches like the guy. I guess I mean, from all indications, he's good, and good character guy. The team likes him. At the very least, he'll be a good 12 to 14 guy on your roster with a healthy group who can certainly jump into the lineup and not hurt you. I mean, if he plays a bottom six role, he can be a productive one, like certainly more productive than maybe Brendan Gallagher has been this year, or Joe Veleno, right? So I sort of get it. And also, I'm sure it's not a no trade clause or anything like that. And an asset's an asset, right? I mean, at that price, let's say a year from now, he's just a spare forward on the Canadians. I mean, at $2.5 million, there's going to be a team out there that would pick him up. I would think so. Worth a gamble at that price, $5 million over 2 years. I mean, hey, considering how he's played, he's certainly worth something in that neighborhood, I suppose. I mean, I think it's a little hasty doing it, but on the other hand, if he, maybe they know some things, like maybe Doc's not coming back soon. Maybe they've got plans to get rid of a few other guys. Like, I see a glut there, and they're gonna have to make moves. There's no doubt about it. There's gonna be roster players, and beyond just Blais and Beck going back to Laval. there's just too many players, and they'll have to make some decisions on some of them over the next few months. So I just, you know, I mean, I guess he's not going to hurt you in the third or fourth line role. Now, does this also signal that they aren't going to be signing Hage at the end of the year? Because again, like come April, if Doc's healthy, Hage is in the lineup, I think your top 9 is set, right? And that's not even including Line and Newhook back. Like, there's no spot for him in the top 9. Is he a fourth? Do you want him on your fourth line? Well, I think you want a big physical, energetic fourth line. So, I mean, if you were to ask me right now, ideally, is Alex Texier in your lineup in the playoffs? I would say no, but I guess, he's getting paid 1.4 million this year, so whatever. But and if you balance the three, like it basically 3 years for 6.4, whatever it is, basically half of what the league average is. So I guess I don't know what he's like. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but clearly they're comfortable with him. They think that he can, at worst, be a good depth player when they're healthy, and chip in some offense here and there. When he's on his game, when he's playing well, he can create, he can chip in some offense. So, hey, the Canadians it's all about building assets, and to me, it's a signal that he is going. There are going to be several roster players moved in somehow, some way over the next couple months, unless the rash of injuries continue, and then you just keep plugging guys in, I guess. But anyway, that was surprising news that we got this morning out of Habs land, and just a quick comment here. My positive surprise with Texier is the quality of his forecheck, but I still see daydreaming defensively from time to time. He's not someone to go create chaos in front of the net. No. Felix Lassard, I wasn't happy when I saw the news. There was no urgency at all. Everyone is taking pay cut. Texier is here since a couple of weeks, and no pay cut for him when he didn't need him for the next 2 years, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he, pay cut. Like, I mean, he's going to be getting half of the league salary. It's about what he was getting paid, I think, in St. Louis, was it not? Around $2.5 million. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's surprising, and other people are. Texier signing was kind of fast. Could have waited. Yeah, I think so. I don't think he was about to score 10 goals over the next month and a half, and then, you just absolutely have to sign him for $5 million a year to an extension. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. There. I love to be a fly in the wall to hear why the reasoning was for rushing to sign him. I don't know. But hey, I guess if you look at it, the fact that he's filling a first line role for now, or second, whatever you want to call it, top 6 role, I guess the price is right. But anyway, that's that. I'll get to Hage in a minute. I just want to thank our sponsor here, Logs End. Geez, hang on here. I got to get rid of this comment. Ivan Cornway obviously shops at Logs End. They recover 200-year-old timber hand retrieved by divers from the bottom of the Ottawa River, protecting riverbed ecosystems, and local waterways. While famous for their riverwood, they also offer Canadian white oak, hard maple, hickory, birch, and walnut for everything from high-traffic commercial floors to basements with radiant heat. Logs End has provided custom flooring for NHLers such as the fellow pictured here, Ivan, Gary Galley, Chris Neal, Mike Vernon, and Chris Phillips. Please visit their website at www.logsend.com. Tell them that Grant sent you, and they'll fix you up. So, yeah, aside from that, I had a look at Michael Hage's last game. He had a goal and an assist versus Notre Dame. 7-4 win. Obviously, lots of us saw him at the World Juniors, and he was a standout there. Mind you, a 19-year-old on a team that was full of 18-year-olds. So, he was presumably going to be the leaders there, but it was still nice, nevertheless, to see him. Well, I thought he dominated. He was probably the best forward in the tournament, and certainly, in my opinion, the best forward on the Canadian team. But NCAA hockey is a notch above that in terms of playing closer to the NHL because of the age of players and a good litmus test for any young player when you're kind of projecting, hey, is he going to be in the lineup come April? Are Montreal going to sign him, and will he be playing? So I'm going to take a look at the clips from his last game, and I'm going to offer my thoughts on whether I think Michael Hage will sign with the Canadiens, whether he'll play with the Canadiens at the end of the season, and then if he does, then where will he be in the lineup? Let's have a look at the tape here. I'll give you my thoughts as I go along here. He started the game at center. Will Horkoff's been on his wing all season long so far. And good on the forecheck on this rush here, on this sequence. I like the way he moves back to cover for the defenseman. He did that a few times in this game. That's not typically what the center does, but he does if he's on the ball and following the play and seeing where if his defenseman pinches, then he's the closest guy, then jump back for him. So I like that he's becoming more defensively aware. Here he is on the forecheck. Gotta love his speed. He is definitely an above average skater. Powerful stride, wide track, kind of similar skating style to Nathan McKinnon. Not that powerful, obviously, but poor man's version. Here he gets back up into the play, staples the guy along the boards. His physical, one of the main improvements in his game has been the physical part of it. He ended this game on the wing with TJ Hughes back at center. He wasn't winning a pile of faceoffs. He was 33% on draws again. Mind you, according to Instat, at least, his percentage this year is 43 overall. And in the last game, he was 66. So, I mean, at the end of the World Junior Tournament, he did improve too. So It's not here. He jumped on the ice and they scored a goal. So you can't blame him on that one. I mean, he was just coming on for a line change and they scored. He didn't get to the player in time. So you can't blame him for that. Hage was on for 3 goals against in this game, which isn't ideal, and you'll see as they go along the other two. But that one, we'll give him a break on that one. He's really good at coming down the left side and protecting the puck, using his speed and puck skills. Look at that pass there. Very, very good vision, very good give and goer. Playmaking is definitely an asset of his. Here he is after losing another face-off. But working fairly hard on the back check. At least he's given the effort, right? I mean, he didn't check the guy. The guy got a good chance, and look at there. You can see how I mean, he waltzes around any defenseman on that rush with his speed and with his he's got a good long reach, and he uses it well with good stick handling. Again, there he's able to shift his body, protect the puck well, and then make the right pass. It's hard. I wouldn't want to be trying to check this kid. He and there's his goal on the power play again. We'll just back that up a bit. He does get the majority of his points on the power play. Even with Canada, a lot of his points were power play. But here he heads back to the point, sneaks in to his favorite spot. Got a great one-timer. Unfortunately, these Instat highlights don't do replays. They're filmed by Jerry Seinfeld up in the cheap seats. But you could see the one-timer, the release. He's got a great one. Here it is, 3-on-3 out with Horkoff. Didn't get a heck of a lot done to this point. Steals the puck away. Oh, tries one of those friggin' cross-ice passes again. He's going to have to be careful with those and hang on to the puck a little more along the boards instead of trying to feed it across the opposing blue line. He did that a lot at the World Juniors, and it's a risky play. But here in that sequence, that 3-on-3 sequence, the majority of it was spent in the other team's zone, and they came damn close to scoring. There's work to do away from the puck for him. And there's a good example again. Kind of let this guy get past. He's not going to, don't be expecting him to come in and steal away Kapanen's job as the second line center to, the instant he moves to the lineup. I mean, well, I'll get into that after the video, but there's a good example too where he didn't really tie up anybody in front, and they jammed away till they scored. So that was the second goal of the game by Notre Dame, and he was on for both of them. Here lays out a guy with a good hit. Again, I like that. I like that he's ramped up his physicality. He likes the left wall, left side. He's same spot as line A in Caulfield. If Liney doesn't come back, you could see Could see Hage being in that spot in the second power play unit. Certainly, they could use him, and I'll get into that, like I say, too, after the video. There he did the old spin around pass. It was kind of a little risky, but also, he's creative and he's not afraid to take a risk. I don't mind some risk because it's, just as Marty was saying about Demidov, you don't quell the creativity of a player. You just try to get him not to make dangerous plays. Here, the reverse hit. I'm just going to back that up. Right here. Gets the puck and boom. That guy goes down in a heap. So he's getting stronger. He's certainly not easy to... You don't see him get knocked down too often anymore. So, and there was a careless pass. Almost got a breakaway the other way. To his credit, he did come back and cover the guy once he lost the puck, but could have been a breakaway opportunity going the other way. And that will be something that he will have to work on at the pro level, clean up a bit. You like his breakaway speed, right? We'll back that up since we don't have replay. But look at the wheels. Gets around that guy, no problem. Nice feed right into the bumper spot. Boom. Goal. I could see him feeding Caulfield. That would work. And here, he's especially good on the power play too. And the Canadians, well, somebody needs to be replacing Gallagher on the second power play. That's for sure. Maybe it's this kid in April. But every power play, he's making things happen with Michigan. He did it. He did it with Canada too at the World Juniors. We saw it. It's funny. He started the friggin' tournament on the second power play, which I thought was crazy. But Hunter soon realized when the second unit was doing all the damage that they should be the first. At least he had the wherewithal to. But you see him moving the puck around. He's got a nice touch. Makes some quick passes like Slav too on occasion, where he'll zip it over as soon as it's on his stick. But he likes to kind of run things over on the left wall. Another one on the Canadians who likes to do that. And there, he's good with the zone entries, protects the puck well, good hands, good speed, and length. So, reminds me a little bit of another number 19 when it comes to that. He's a bit like Spezza, but better skater than Spezza was. They ended the game on a 5-minute power play. So unfortunately, I would have liked to see more 5-on-5 because that's the part of his game that, I want to see more, and I want to see more improvement. It's come a long way since last year, but 3 goals against in this game, 2 really. You don't want to count the first one, but still some work to do. And here's a little brouhaha at the end, but lots of shifts from his last game. Goal and an assist, on the ice for 3 goals against, 33% in the face-off dot. Had a couple of hits, raced himself well for one, and did a reverse hit. I don't know. I think he looked better at times in the World Juniors than he did in that game, but you see the skill. You see that, well, he's going to be a better player than Alex Texier going forward. Now, will he be better than Alex Texier in April? Presumably, Michigan gets to the Final Four. I think they've been ranked top 2 all year, and they're expected to. And if they do, then it's basically there's a week left in the NHL regular season. I think he gets signed, plays the last couple games, very similar to Demidov last year. See him in the lineup the last 2 or 3 games of the season with the Habs, and then they make a judgment on whether they think he's ready to play in the playoffs for Montreal. A lot will depend. I think he could potentially fill the first line role with the Canadiens when he comes up, that one missing spot. I believe they're going to keep Slav, Demi, and Kapanen together. They've clicked and they look so good together. I can't see that trio getting broken up. I also don't expect to see Texier there long term on the first line. It was mentioned by Kent Hughes in his mid-season press conference that maybe Alex Newhook or Kirby Dach is in that first line spot. I hope it's not Newhook. I don't think that's the right spot for him. Ideally, Kirby Dach gets a look, and ideally, Kirby Dach grabs the bull by the horns and seizes that opportunity, because I think he's the right guy for the first line. So then Newhook comes back. Texier drops down to the third line, I guess, and you have Newhook, Texier, Danault as your third line. Maybe. I kind of like Anderson and Bolduc on that. So do Anderson and Bolduc play on the fourth line with Evans? And then you've got Veleno and Gallagher out of the lineup. I don't know. There's just where's Hage then, right? Hage would have to be on the third line if they signed him. And so Hage would play with Danault. I don't necessarily like that pairing, but Hage would play with Danault and either Newhook or, and then we're not even getting into line A. There's just such a mishmash there. And so then is Texier on the fourth line? Is it Texier, Hage, and Danault, your third line? That's not an ideal third line for me. Like, Danault's the checker, but then who else is, right? Like, Hage and Texier aren't physical winger presences in their own zone at this point. Like, I can't see that being aligned in the playoffs. I don't know. Not sure what all he just keeps signing guys, and I don't know. There has to be a plan. I'd be curious to know what it is. Now, Hage, if he comes in and they say, well, okay, and Doc's not doing it on the first line. Well, you plug Hage in with Suzuki and Caulfield. I think that can work. They'd be going up against top lines, but Suzuki's so freaking good defensively that he can back up Hage in that regard. And Hage would be playing on the wing, and it's not as big a deal defensively on the wing, right? So, and then you'd have Dach. Doc's a better option on a third line, I think. Dach, Danault, and Bolduc or Anderson would be a good third unit, I think. And then you figure out the fourth line from there. Then you're already see then Texier is already getting bumped to the fourth line. I don't know. There seems to be some all signs point to some players having to move here. I guess like all of these scenarios aren't including line A either, right? But I do know if they do sign Hage and he gets in the lineup, it'll be likely third line or top line, and certainly on the power play. I would suspect the second one, Caulfield keeps his spot in the left wall on the first unit. I mean, I wish they could replace Gallagher with Hage on the second power play tomorrow. Like Montreal's second power play has one goal this year in 46 games. One goal. That's unacceptable. That has to change. They tried to do something about it last game by having Hudson and Demidov on the second unit, but then I think that curtailed the first unit, right? So I don't know. Like it's just if it'll somewhat depend on line A2, right? Because that's his spot on the left wall. So if line A's playing, there's less urgency to have Hage in the lineup because his main contribution probably at this point, being that he's so green, would be helping out the power play. But he has played well enough that I think he can help the team 5-on-5 as well. So, there'll be a lot of ifs and ands and buts. It'll depend on line A. It'll depend on Doc. It'll depend on Texier. It'll depend on injuries. It'll depend on if he signs with Montreal and burns a year of his ELC, which I suspect will be the route if he does sign. It won't be to go play in Laval. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, if friggin' Farrell can sign that deal, Michael Hage can too. So I was looking back at, if you want a kind of a comparable, they aren't similar players, but comparable where they were after 2 years in college, leading scorers in college, it'd be Cole Caulfield when he came out, right? Cole came out, Wisconsin didn't make the tournament, and Cole came out, and he played 10 games at the end of the year, but he averaged 13 minutes a game, I believe it was. I just got to double check here. 13:58 a game. So, they didn't stick him in a top six role per se. It was more third line minutes, right? And then Galchenyuk would be another kind of. They're sort of similar size, similar good stick handlers and stuff. Galchenyuk was a top 3 pick and pretty highly regarded at the time that he came into the league, albeit a little younger than Hage. But Chucky averaged 12-19 his first year in the NHL, and then 14-24 the second year. So typically a young player, that's pretty skilled and pretty highly regarded, doesn't get, they don't stick him onto the top line right off the bat. So it's probably not what they'll do with Hage unless Texier's not doing it. unless Doc has been brought in and tried and he's not filling the role and they really have no other choice. Mind you, I think he could play well on that line. Like Caulfield could use somebody with his ability to protect the puck, create space, find open men with good passing. I think he could set up Cole for a number of goals, and I think ultimately, if it's not at the end of this season, that he could very well be an option to play with Caulfield and Suzuki as early as next year, if not the end of this year. I don't see Danault's going to be the third line center. Kapanen, the other possibility is that he replaces Kapanen in the second center slot, but I think that's too early. He's not as good on faceoffs. He's definitely not as good defensively. I don't know that he'd score any more goals, although he potentially playing with those two guys could set up more than Kapanen does and has better puck skills. It's fair to say, but the rest of his game at this point, it's not as good as Kapanen, and I think Kapanen brings a better balance, more experience, and already has a chemistry with those two, and I wouldn't want to break that trio up. GB saying, why am I placing so much hope? I'm not. I already said, GB, that if he works out there, if he doesn't, I'm not saying he will. I am saying that he's the right choice if it works out. Why am I hoping? Well, I'm hoping that a 6'4" guy that was drafted top 3 in the NHL, who's still only 24 years old, can come close to reaching his potential. And, a player gets put in the situation with the right players on a good line, then that opportunity exists that you can reach your potential. More so than if you threw him with Danault and Bolduc or whatever in the third line. Like, we're not talking about a 5th round pick, right? They got off the trash heap. We're not talking about Alex. Why are you placing so much hope in Alex Texier? Do you prefer that a guy that was bought out 2 months ago be playing with? Did you prefer him playing with Newhook and Newhook playing with Suzuki and Caulfield? So, I mean, I'm not placing all my hope in Doc. What I'm saying is he's likely to be the guy that gets the opportunity here, and I hope he seizes it. Do I know if he will or not? I have no idea. That's why I'm saying if Doc doesn't seize the opportunity and win the spot, then it could be where Hage ends up playing. I wouldn't even mention Hage as a possibility for the first line and talked about it for 5 minutes if I placed all my hope in Kirby Dach and I think that he's got it nailed. I have no idea. What I do know is ideally a guy that you traded Romanov and got a 13th pick and then threw in another pick to get this guy, a former 3rd overall pick. I know that the organization would like for him. It's not just me that would hope that a former 3rd overall pick that they paid a high price to get can fill that role. It's what Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton ultimately want. So we'll see. I'm definitely not. I'm not predicting the future here whatsoever. I have no idea who will be on the first line in April. I hope it's Doc. Do I think it'll be Doc? I don't know. I really don't. Let's get to a few other questions here. With all these players with speed and skills, we have so much, maybe a few trades coming. Yeah, we have too much. Well, yeah, I think there needs to be a little more balance there. GB saying it was kind of a fast. Yeah, it was. Best quality of Texier is his flexibility. He's able to produce with talented players in some contexts, but was also able to make Evans and Anderson produce. Yeah. I haven't really seen a lot of chemistry with him with those two. Like his points have kind of come in a mishmash. Sometimes it was with those Caulfield and Suzuki. Sometimes it was at the end of shifts with other players. I don't know. I'm not seeing a pile of chemistry with those three. I still wonder who's the guy that digs out pucks, right? Not really seeing that. Yeah, it's I wasn't happy when I saw the news. There was no urgency at all. This is concerning Texier. By the way, Eric, by popular demand, Eric Macramel is going to be back on tomorrow at 1:00, and he's the best guy. This guy's a sports legal analyst, supreme. I love talking whenever the Canadians make a signing. There's no better person to talk to about it than Eric, and he's agreed to come on tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1:00, we'll talk about Texier some more. Get his opinions, which I truly respect when it comes to contracts, and also we'll set the table for the big match against Buffalo tomorrow night. So I hope you can tune in tomorrow at 1:00. Eric Macramella will be hosting again. Everyone is taking a pay cut. Texas here's a couple of weeks, no pay cut for him. Yeah, well, I did kind of already address that one. Sorry. Surprised we signed him. Skilled but smallish, non-physical guy. What's this all about? Yeah. Ed, I'm with you. I don't know exactly. I think what it is that Kent is looking at it from a perspective that okay, he can produce some points. He is right now. He's getting that opportunity. We have an opportunity to sign him at basically half of the league average going forward the next 2 years. That will be an attractive trade asset if down the road he doesn't have a regular spot in Montreal. There'll be a team, particularly a team near the bottom, like Vancouver could use a Alex Texier, right? Might even be a second liner on a team like that. At $2.5 million, that becomes relatively attractive to a team that lacks the depth that Montreal has. So these are all assets, and Kent Hughes is banking on the fact that down the road, Alex Texier at worst can be flipped for, who knows, a third round pick or something. So he helps you for now, a team that's been suffering a lot of injuries. He can be in the lineup. He can contribute offensively. He can even play on the first line. He's versatile. He can play anywhere from the first line to the fourth line, I guess. Even though I don't really like him ideally in any of those lines, but he's surprised me so far, and maybe he'll continue to surprise. I don't know. Difficult to compare him to RFA players, but this quick signing seems to give us an indication Leno isn't part of the plan. Oh yeah, well, for sure. It gives you an indication that several, like Blay isn't part of the plan, Delano isn't part of the plan, Line isn't part of the plan. Yeah. Could Hughes already have a trade that's been agreed upon? A trade? You mean a trade for Texier? That would be odd. Not right at the moment. No, I don't think so. Yeah, re-sign a guy who's playing on your first line, who you just picked up, signed a contract to a month ago. He's exceeded expectations. Then you turn around and trade him? Probably not. I mean, I wish, but no. Texier signing could impact trade for a top 6 player. Yeah. Doc needs a new contract in the summer. True. But he will be an RFA too. So it's not like Hunter didn't even vote him as a top 3 on the team. Yeah, we know. Demidov and Hudson. Well, I commented on that, GB. I think it in part was to try to get the second unit going, but if they really wanted to get the second unit going, I think they'd take Gallagher off of it. Too many assets. Kent will be making moves before the NHL freeze. Yes, absolutely. There may not be a busier GM than Kent Hughes. Coming up to the freeze, the February freeze, and then the trade deadline. Dude's not going to get a lot of sleep. Only one team in the NHL doesn't have any injured players, Detroit. Having depth and flexibility isn't a luxury. Yeah. The Habs could get physical wingers like Coleman or Jenner. It would help in the playoffs. It's Jenner a center. He's both. I like Boone Jenner. I'd be okay with that pickup. He's definitely got a physical edge to him. Need a power play coach. Yeah. Will you stop with the Burrows? VDAC, you have to post that every friggin' day. I'll take Marty St. Louis as a power play coach over Alex Burrows, who never scored a power play goal in his career. Any day. I wish you'd just state your opinion on something, VDAC, and then, you don't have to make 5 long posts on the same thing every day. I'm just not going to read them. My buddy VDAC, eh? we're always on the same page. Why break up Slav, Cap, and Demi? Doesn't make sense to me. They will only get better together. Yeah, for sure. It's all up to Doc. I hope it is. Good to see you back again, Sheldon. No hockey game this afternoon. I feel it'll be difficult to introduce Hage in the lineup like Caulfield was introduced. Habs had a lot of holes when Caulfield joined, and he was filling one. Hage cannot as easily overtake someone now. Yeah. Well, yeah, they are a deeper team than when Caulfield joined. And like I even said, like even then, Caulfield was he only played 13.58 a game, and that was just my point, was that these young guys typically don't come in and get stuck onto a first line, even as skilled a player as Caulfield on a team that needed it, right? Now they don't need it as badly, mind you. They do have a spot on the top line right now. Love you and your show. In the spirit of getting bigger and tougher up front, would you like Hughes to trade for Adam Lowry? Yeah. Yeah. Adam Lowry would be great to trade for, but have Deneau as a fourth line center. Lowry as your third. That'd be nice, eh? I don't think Winnipeg, he's their captain. He's kind of their heart and soul. I don't know that they'd get rid of him though. But yeah, Adam Lowry would be a great guy to have on the Habs. I just don't think he's for sale. I dream of the day that Slav returns to the top line and Hage is at center with Demidov and Jarosky on the wings. Yeah. I tell you, I wouldn't want to Hage, Demidov, Jarosky. I don't know. Maybe if they're up against fourth lines, but who's going to keep the puck out of their own net? Like there's till they start playing the game with only one net. You gotta be able to keep them out of your own net too. I don't mind Demidov, but that's a long way from being a top two line in the NHL, just because of the defensive part of it. I know we don't like to keep track of that part, but Vidak Coleman can play center, but plays left wing, mostly 13 goals, playing mostly defensive role. Yeah. Hey, Monahan would have been good. Dvorak would have been good, but they did not. They haven't been perfect. No GM. This just in, no GM has been perfect yet, folks. Unfortunately. Pierre, I haven't seen much of you lately, Pierre. You've been away a bit. Texier is not small. No, smallish. I think what he meant by smallish is just he's kind of, I don't know. I think he's a little, I wouldn't call him bulked up, He sort of plays. He shut me up really good as I thought he wasn't an NHL player. On pace for 52 points. Well, it's a little early for that, and he has been given a role that he's probably not going to maintain. But you truly love Texier now. I'm glad I was wrong. Well, I'm kind of somewhere in between on that, I don't truly love Texier now, but I mean, I think we've all kind of been pleasantly surprised by what we've seen so far. Where did I rank Texier in his draft year? Frederick Bolduc. I don't even remember. Didn't see a whole pile of them playing in France. So I think I deferred to my NHL scouting buddies when it came to Texier. Somewhere, I don't know, 50 to 70, I believe, but I can't recall exactly. Yeah, well, Texier's been it has exceeded expectations. It's fair to say. Do I love him? No. Still way too small a sample size. Like if he plays 5 good games in a row, then I'll start to. But there's still a consistency issue with him. He's had some groaners. I mean, anybody should be able to play half decently with Nick Suzuki. Would Hage be eligible to play in the playoffs if the Habs wanted? Yep. They'd have to sign him. to an ELC. Bernie here. Glad we got a point last night. Would have been nice to see Demi in OT though. Yeah. Yeah, I know. They're being a little protective with Demi right now. Yesterday again, Texier hit the post on the first shift and then missed an open net in the second. Nearly won it again last night. Looks like quite the addition so far. Let's hope it keeps going, man. I just, I don't know. Going anywhere in the playoffs. I don't see Alex Texier on the first line. I don't see him on the third line. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm still not. I haven't seen enough. We've seen players have good little stretches before and then completely disappear. Shell Deline had almost like one full year like that. It reminds me a bit of Shell Deline, that type of guy. Grant, would Hage be eligible to play in the playoffs if the Habs wanted? Yes. Glad we got a point. Oh, sorry, I read those two already. I don't envision Winnipeg being a major seller this year. They'll want to rebound next year. Well, that's it too, right? They're in a market where they can't do a full reblow, blow it up, I don't think, because they're having issues selling tickets as it is. So, yeah. I think what they need to do is make better free agent signings than they did last year. There's still a good core there. They've got Scheifele, Connor, Hellebuck, Morrissey locked in. I think they have Morrissey locked in for the long term. Those are nice pieces. I mean, they won the friggin' President's Cup last year, so they're likely, right? They're likely to rebound next year. Just they have to correct the mistakes that they made this year. And I think they can do that. Must be difficult becoming a good player, playing in a country such as France that cannot provide fair competition. Yeah, well, it wasn't easy evaluating him. Like I know my scouting friends thought Columbus kind of took a chance grabbing this guy that high because it's hard to, like I say, it's hard to evaluate. Like, you know, yeah, he was dominating his peers in France at the time, but wouldn't be the first guy to come along in a non-hockey playing country and really impress, right? I just trust Hugo. I would not have signed him so fast either. Glad to see they are so confident Texier will fix his issues. He has many. That's well said, yeah. Missed an open net. You mean he got robbed? Yeah. But half the net was open. Yeah. How about you guys hit that like button for Grant? Yeah. Kind of a sparse showing here. We've had about 40 people. Hey, I didn't give much notice. It's middle of the afternoon, but I thought I'd throw something out here today. I won't be on tonight, so I like to do a podcast a day if I can. But yeah, if you can like the episode, much appreciated. If you're watching on X, you do me a great favor if you came over to the YouTube version and join in the chat. Everyone's welcome. Texier had mental health issues, if I understand. Looks transformed. Just never saw him play well before, and the skill set he has, I had no clue, to be honest. Well, he's always had talent, and he's a he's a tall kid. I mean, good good puck skills for a 6'2" kid, you know. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody can't say they haven't been pleasantly surprised with him so far. Would I have signed him to an extension today? I don't think it was necessary, but you know, as has been pointed out, Kent Hughes has made a lot of good decisions so far. So I'm certainly not going to say, "Oh, what a dumb, stupid," you know, and act like I know it all when it comes to. And some people do that. They'll judge one way or the other right off the bat. My only I don't know what the rush was. I I would have personally I would have waited a little longer. It hasn't been a huge sample size so far, but so far so good. So I guess they thought, I mean, you know, if you speculate, you think, well, like I think Doc's a better option there, but if they know something we don't, like maybe Doc's had a recurring whatever and he's not coming back anytime soon. And they thought, well, okay, so this guy's going to be playing on the top line. He's on pace for like I don't know, 50 points, 52 points over a season at the pace he's been with the Habs so far. If he ends this year with like 35 to 40 points, then you got to sign him for, I don't know, quite a bit next year. And they don't want to re-sign Doc and da 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 da. I don't know. I don't know all the machinations behind the scenes on it, but I just could they not have waited till the off season to sign him? I guess they figured that they'd want more at that point, and I don't know. Oh, somebody, Francois, sent me a toonie. Thank you, Francois. I appreciate that. Every donation is highly appreciated. Thank you. Texier played for Liga as a teen for a couple seasons. That's true. Yep. He did at that. And but in his draft year, he was playing in Grenoble. So it was a little tough getting video of him, right? I think I'm trying to think where I did see him. I believe they were in the U18 Division 1A U18s, and then he played. I guess where I saw him was at the World Juniors, because France made the World Junior Division 1A, and I saw some video of that. And he played a little bit internationally, but I didn't get to see him much. So I wasn't going to rank a guy that I really get to scout very high. I think I had him in the third round somewhere. You certainly knew about him, heard about him, but you don't feel comfortable ranking a guy in the top 50 that you never really scouted. Still a small sample, and obviously advanced stats are not saying the truth, but Texier on first line had better stats than with Slav. Yeah. Hey, 16 points in 25 games is, is all right. Some have said if Robert Thomas was available, they'd offer Kapanen, Reinbacher, maybe a first-round pick. Yeah. Yeah, Robert Thomas is a good player. I think Oliver Kapanen's a good player. I think Reinbacher will be a very good player. I would not do that deal. I mean, Kapanen and Reinbacher towards your cap the next 2 years will be $2 million. Reinbacher's in the for 2 years, yeah. And Robert Thomas taking one spot is what, 8 million, something like that. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know who the some are, but pass. St. Louis isn't looking to trade Robert Thomas either. They already traded for Logan Mailloux. Are they going to trade for another right defenseman from the Habs? I don't know. I was wondering too, was this St. Louis signs Logan Mailloux to an extension yesterday. Kent you says, oh yeah? Well, I'll sign Texier to an extension today. You think one had anything to do with the other? I'll show you. I like my player too. Nah, probably not. Hage is in Montreal forever. Let's hope so. Texier's not a first liner, but I guess he might become a superb Swiss knife. Yeah. As long as he plays, as long as he competes, that's been his issue, like in the past. He's not a physical 6'2" guy, but I've seen a little bit of pushback from him here with the Habs. As long as he plays competitive, he can fill a third line, fourth line role on the Canadiens, I guess. I mean, he adds skill, right? What do you think of Mason March? I get asked that a lot. I don't know. Yeah. Typically, you just acquired a guy, you're not turning around to get rid of him again. I don't know. I guess so. We need to move on from Doc. I don't. Why? Texier might have stolen Doc's job. I don't think so. Doc doesn't have a job right now. The Ovish record is equivalent to a President's Trophy pace, and they're talking about sending them down. Yeah, 700% win percentage. Not bad, eh? Grant, what do you think of Drew O'Connor? I don't know. I haven't watched him enough to. He doesn't. I don't know. Texier's I don't get to see a lot of these West Coast teams that much. I'm freaking doing podcasts from 11 till 1 in the morning, thanks to you. Bunch of needy folk. Like Pierre mentioned, Texier is like a Swiss knife and could play on any line. He could play on any line, but is he ideal on any line? I don't know. I also think he fits well. You can play on the third or fourth line if you don't want any physicality on your third or fourth line. In the playoffs this year, I want physicality. Didn't have it last year. want it this year. That's my issue with Alex Texier. But anyway, he's got a few points in the last few games. Everybody loves him. 2 6-point games. You take that away, he's got 10 points in 23 games. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's a small sample size for me. Doc is the big body that can go in front of the net, which Texier cannot do. Yeah, well, at their best, give me Doc all day long. Not even a question. But Texier's not injured, is he? Doc is. Good afternoon. On the surface, I don't have an issue with the contract. Provides us with options where Texier can play anywhere in the lineup. Yeah. Again, everyone keeps saying he can play anywhere, but I don't want a non-physical guy in my bottom six. I just don't. I know people are saying he's not soft. I wouldn't call him soft, but I wouldn't call him hard either. I don't know. I guess he can play anywhere in your lineup, but I don't know. We will see. Sabres have tough decision with Tuck. Could walk for nothing. Yeah, I'd take Tuck. I'd take Tuck. Honestly, not sure how I feel about Texier. Like when all are back, where will he play? Yeah, I know. That's how I feel too. Will he regress back to how he started? I would have waited till season end for him. So would I, but hey. Kent Hughes is a pretty smart cookie, so we should trust him. I think was a good point by whoever that was. I think it might have been Pierre. Torpedo Torchenko. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting the torpedo from St. Louis. Yeah, he's physical. Yes, and yeah, I would take the torpedo for sure. Was it a media member that said it? The Kapanen and Ryan Bacher love continue. There's people that would trade them for peanuts. Can you talk a bit about what kind of player Jarosky is? Well, GB, I could, but I do have like 3 or 4 videos on my feed, and I go in depth, show video, the whole works. I recommend you go have a look at them there, buddy, because I have talked quite a bit about what kind of player Jarosky is, and I certainly don't have, the hour and a half to talk about it right now that I would I demonstrate on those videos. Very skilled player, just like Hage. Great stick handler. Thomas comes to Montreal, he might regress into a 60-pointer because he'll lose that power play. Not saying Cappy and him are equal, but you need players that fit the role that they have. Yeah. Cappy can score as many goals as Thomas, maybe more. Thomas a better playmaker, obviously, but yeah, does he replace Suzuki on the top power play? You kind of already have a Suzuki, like they're kind of similar players. Yeah. Anyway, the cost would be huge. Kapanen and Rhino, where's the salary? Where do you balance off the salary? Like, there's a lot of factors in there, right? And all of a sudden, you got another $5 million in salary. that you don't have the room for. You already got too many guys that got to get rid of, and some that you probably can't get rid of to free up the salary space. The Habs right up till now said, we're not sacrificing the future. Well, the first round pick Kapanen and Reinbacher would be exactly that. We need a top 6 monster, not a bottom 6 monster. Need a bottom 6 monster too. Need 2 monsters. What kind of contract term does Ollie have? Does Ollie K? You talking about Kapanen? He's on a entry level contract, 925,000 or whatever. Got another year left on it. That's awfully attractive because it means you can have other pieces. You get Thomas, then you got to get rid of another $6 million contract just to meet the salary cap. Doesn't work. Are there any big guys at the forward position in the upcoming draft to play big? Good question. There was one last draft, Prokhorov. I've been looking at him too. He's made some nice plays for Egg. What are the chances of the Habs landing Savato kid? Yeah. In the 20s, not good. What are the chances of the Habs finishing in the top 7? They're almost the same. A week from now, they could be drafting 15, 16. But he's going top 15. So unless they miss the playoffs, they're not getting Oliver Savato. But he'd be a nice ad for sure. Yes, Glenn, I did mention that trade asset signed for 2 years. Yeah. Don't know necessarily this trade deadline, but maybe next trade deadline. But yeah, with all the injuries they've had, they probably want to hold on to him this year. But no, hey, they did the math, said, okay, this is a value, this is a good value. The guy right now is holding his own on the first line. We can sign him for $2.5 million. That's good. So they looked at it from a monetary standpoint, asset standpoint, Glenn. Rumors are Raquel is available for the right offer. 2 more years. Might fit well with Caulfield Suzuki. Maybe. Have I taken a look at Corey Pronman? I have not looked at a Corey Pronman list in my entire life, but thank you for asking, Francois. Don't get me started on that guy. Not a popular opinion, but it would not surprise me if we saw Jarowski much sooner than expected, meaning next fall at the latest. There's no rush on it, Pierre. There's no spot for him. He's not playing for the Habs next year anyway, so no. Sorry, Grant. What does Oliver Kapanen's next contract look like? Okay. I didn't. Okay. I couldn't discern that from your original post. I'm usually pretty good at deciphering. We talked about that yesterday. You want to go back and look at the end of my conversation with Eric Macramella, who is a legal sports analyst. He's great with that kind of discussion. Look at the last 5 minutes of that, and we go into it pretty well. He seemed to think might get him like 3 years, 4.5 or something, kind of a bridge contract. I suggested maybe 5 years, 5 to 6 million. That's if you extend him this summer. And I think it might be smart because, hey, he's centering those guys next year and, hits 35 goals, center, penalty killing 35 goals, center. You're probably going to have to pay him 7-8 million a year. So I would broach it with him this summer and look at something in the 5-year, $5 to $6 million range, I think. But that's just a guess. Actually, I take that back regarding Texier. I don't see Kent pulling the carpet underneath him just as he signs him. No, probably not. This trade deadline, no, probably not. Right now, Captain might already be better than McTavish. He's not going anywhere. You like being right, eh, Pierre? Well, we'll see. Didn't say it was crazy. It's just he's got a contract, and there's no spot for him right now. Why hurt relations with the Russian pipeline that they have now for a guy that probably needs at least another year or 2 years? He's 18 years old. So why just he's playing friggin' eight. He played 18 minutes last game. What? A year in the AHL versus a year in the KHL playing 18 to 20 minutes. Is it better in the AHL? Not necessarily. He needs work. He's not just going to jump into the lineup next year. They already have the youngest team in the league. Do you really think that they're going to go with another teenager in there? They'll probably have Hage in. That's enough. Like at some point, they want to win at playoff time. They're not going to win with a freaking average age of 22. I'm not saying it's crazy. I'm just saying there's a lot of reasons why you just let him. There's no rush. He's developed freaking great in the last year. His coach, he's a good coach. Kozlow's a former NHLer, doing a good job with him. Next year, his contract's up. Bring him over. 20 years old. Maybe then there's a spot for him in the lineup, but odds are high that he's like you can't have 9 danglers in your top 9. You got to have a balance. And, it's just what Texier, Zurofsky, and Hage, your third line. Like, holy frig, be losing games 8-5 all year. Crazy man, Pierre. Well, we'll see. I know earlier in the year you were saying, Hage, and he's more ready than I thought he was at the time. So anyway, you like to make the bold predictions sometimes. Blind squirrel gets the nut the odd time there, Pierre. The summer is the last time you can sign 8 years. Yeah, that's right. Could it be sign and trade? Maybe Hugo's working on it. Yeah, probably not. They're not. That's not how Hughes works. That's kind of not in good faith, right? The guy gets bought out. You bring him in, put him on the first line, sign him to a contract extension so you can deal him. It's just that's not the Kent Hughes way. It's just not. I'm still impressed. Texier gambled on himself by breaking a $2.1 million contract to sign a $1 million with the Habs. Yeah, but he got paid for it too, right? Would you trade for Braden Schneider? He might be available. After his beautiful hit on Captain JT Miller. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they had a spot for Demidov this year, but again, Pierre, Hage is ahead of them. They already got Cappy, Hage, Slav, Demidov, Hage, or sorry, Demidov. You know, you can't have 6 guys under 23 in your top friggin' 9. It just you can't. Not if you're trying to win, and they're trying to win right now. There's no rush on him. I get where you're coming from. He's producing similar to Demidov last year. Mind you, he's getting a lot more opportunity, right? Anyway, I know you like the back and forth, and we'll revisit this some other time. What are your thoughts on Dobson? Yeah, you like to pat yourself on the back, eh, Pierre? He's still not playing in Montreal, by the way. What are your thoughts on Dobson? Do you feel he is earning his contract, or maybe as he matures, he will grow into it? Was the 70-point season an outlier? Uh, yeah, he's earning his contract, leading the league in block shots, doing a lot of the little things that we didn't necessarily know that he would do. Was the 70-point season an outlier? Well, he's not playing on the first power play here because Lane Hutson's playing here, so he's not going to have another 70-point season. But what, he's on pace for 50, playing on second power play? I'll take that. Playing regular on the top PK, 23 minutes a game. First pairing right defenseman. Yeah, he's earning every cent. Pierre. Why Schneider to block Reinbacher and Pickford? Yeah, I'm not. You get Schneider because he can play in the playoffs right now and help you this year. You can always trade guys down the road. But you know who's played really well recently on the right side too is Cartier. He's back to playing like he did. He got paid for it. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. What was your last comment, Francois? He got paid for it? I never said he got paid for it. Grant, do you think the Habs need to make a move to get bigger and more grit for the playoffs? Yes. We've been discussing that the whole show, GB. I have trust in Kent and Gorton. They're staying the course in what they want to do. We're not building a Leaf team here. Management will balance things out moving forward. Some great comments on here today, folks. As usual, the most intelligent fan base on the planet. Thank you. Hey, I get a little revved up with some questions sometimes, but nobody's asking anything particularly unreasonable. As always, it's a pleasure to be able to interact with you folks. I am going to I got to get going here. Grant, do you like Adam Klapka? He's tall. Not really. Relax on Jarosky. He needs time to develop physically. I agree. Demidov was better defensively. He was more NHL ready. He played on a better team. Yeah, Jarosky has similar point totals, but it's with a better team. With a obviously he gets more opportunity. He's on the top power play most of the time, gets a lot of his points there. Demi was a little older too, right? Don't forget, he's a late birthday, so a little more physically mature. Demidov dominated older competition from the age of 15 on. That's not the case with Jarosky. He's still, 175 pounds. I wouldn't want to try to. First of all, I don't think he'd play Montreal next year. Second of all, I wouldn't want. I don't think physically he's ready for that. So, anyway, one more year. He's in a good situation. Come over when he's 20. Maybe there's a spot then. Maybe he needs a year in the AHL, but maybe there's a spot for him at that. I'd like 2 more good off seasons. Zarowski getting stronger. Come to camp in 2 years. His contract's up. Don't burn any bridges with the Russia. All good. Everything's good. And he makes the team at training camp 2027, 28, hopefully. But anyway, stranger things have happened. Dobson is top 10 in the league for even strength points. Yeah, well, tops at yeah, and right at the top in block shots. Heavy minute muncher, big guy that can really good in the getting the puck out of his zone for the most part. Really tough to beat one-on-one. Dobson's playing well, might reach 15-55. Not too bad. Don't forget, guys, size doesn't always equal physicality. Some big guys are just not aggressive. Some are not quick enough to play the body. Yeah, exactly. Just get a big guy for the sake of getting a big guy. Mike McCarron. Get Mike McCarron. Actually, wouldn't mind. First chance to catch me live. Oh, yeah? And I'm just about to leave. Well, that's too bad. Thanks, Alan Bear. I'll be on live tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Eric Macramella. And then after the show, or after the game tomorrow night. Alan, if you're ever about 5 minutes after each Habs game, you can catch me. You can catch us live. Join the fun. Grant, how do you like Arbor on the fight side? Hasn't had a great year fighting wise, but he takes on some big boys. Makarov's a monster. On the fight side, that's the right side. Okay, well, I was taking it literally. On the right side, yeah, I know. I'm getting it. Arbor on the right side. I don't know. Ideally, you get him back on the left, but he's been all right for the most part. He had the one. He had the one bad period, but I've been pleasantly surprised with him on the right side. GB, thanks, Grant. Great show. Thank you. Don't forget, guys. Is Jurowski playing against strong teams? No, he's not. That's the other thing too, and a good point. Yeah, he's loaded up against, like Jurowski's playing well, but he's not in Demidov's league as a prospect. He's just not. Demidov was the real deal, playing against all the top teams last year, playing a less of an offensive role, lot more physically mature, a lot better defensively at this point. But I do like Jurowski. He's a nice prospect. Hage will be traded or should be for 2C. Yeah, heavens knows the Canadians don't have a 2C, eh, Terry? Poor old Cappy. I get no respect at all. Eh? Kapanen should be the new Rodney Dangerfield. Harbour seems like he's improving. Yeah, he does. Do you see Marchenko being a gamer come playoff time? What do you think it would take to grab him for Columbus? Jesus, eh? Why does everyone think that teams are going to get rid of their best players? Like there's no team that can't be contenders within a year or two with the parity in this league. So why would you trade your 80-point scorer who's in his prime? It just, I don't like to speculate on things that just aren't going to happen. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to say, well, you'd have to trade this, for something that's just not ever going to happen. But anyway, I know as fans, we like to dream up all these scenarios, right? But again, Marchenko's not a really rugged player. He's tall, he's big, but I don't know. I don't see him fitting either. What's the email link? Grant@HabsCast.ca. That's Grant@HabsCast.ca. VDAC. You should see French media with Cappy. They just don't get it. It annoys the crap out of me. Yeah. Oh, I know. Renaud Lavoie with the eye roll when I said they all want to back him because they don't want him to look bad and me to look good. That's for sure. Can't wait to see Forsberg in a Habs jersey. The Cappy line could quickly become a 100-goal line in a year or two. You know what? Yeah. Pierre, I was already asked that question earlier. We discussed it. Yes. Boone Jenner fit. You know what? They could be like an 80-point line, 80-goal line now. Like close to it, eh? But yeah, it might be 80 to 100-goal line. Our window for rebuild should be over 4 years from now. We should be trading assets and picks for size and talent. We could build this team for another 4 years and get nothing. Window now. Yep, windows open now for sure. How about Boone Jenner? Yep. That would be a boon. Getting Boone. Klapka's not a very good skater. Boston was great for a decade and won only one cup. Yeah. I want big guys, Grant. Forgive me for wanting big guys who aren't and would never be available. Yeah. Hey, could use a little more size, that's for sure. All right, folks. I'm all caught up on the chat here. Did want to sneak out for a pint this afternoon at the pub. I guess maybe that's not happening now. No problems, VDAC. Rodney, I heard there's a 7-foot player in the juniors. Yeah. Call him up. Do they have to draft him first? I just call him right up. Emergency recall. Size. Yes. Tex is a safety valve. Could Doc maybe plan for first line, but if he doesn't work, he's a fallback. Yeah, that could be. And I mean, at that salary, it's not crazy, eh? They traded for size and talent. That's what we should do. Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, folks, I made a point to try to make these podcasts a little shorter so people will watch them afterwards. They don't want to watch a 2-hour episode. Only had the one donation here today too, so $2 for an hour and 40 minutes of work is not very well. Put it this way, I'm not going to retire on that, so I think I'm going to bid you all a fair afternoon, and tomorrow 1 p.m. Eric Macramella will discuss further Alex Texier and his contract, get things set up for the big match against Buffalo. Want to try to keep some space between those guys that are breathing heavily on them, and hopefully we'll have a better idea at that point who's the starting goalie. I presume it will be Fowler, but we'll see. And we'll have a good chat and hope you can join us at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And then after the Sabres game, I'll be on with a post game as well. So as always, I appreciate all of this. We didn't have a huge amount of people here. There's only 30 here right now, but lots of questions, great conversation. As always, I appreciate it. And we'll bid you farewell for now and hope to see you tomorrow for another HabsCast. Okay, so long.